Bonsoir, bonsoir, and welcome to Travels Around My Bedroom. So I woke up today and I was thinking of a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you about, and I got a little bit stressed because I couldn't actually really agree with myself on something. I was like, no, I don't like this or I don't like that. Got a little bit annoyed with myself. And I suddenly reached out to something in order to get some comfort and some clarity. And then the little light bulb came on and was switched on. And I thought, I know what I'm going to do my share about today. So let me see it and let me get something that has been part of my life for the last 20 years of my life, and it is this beautiful object called a kettle. Now, I used to live in the UK for 20 years, and one thing that I learned from all this time is that when there is a problem, if you feel sad, reach out for the kettle, make yourself a cup of tea, and everything will be good again. So I really wanted to have and share a cup of tea with you today. Now, I have a pretty, weird way of making tea. So if you're English, just walk away. It's kind of a mixture of a French and English, Old English approach. So the first thing is take that cup. I'm sorry, this is not a mug. And pour the milk first. Now, in England, the majority of people will put the milk afterwards. That's because they use what we call builder's tea bags, really, really strong tea bags. And then you kind of milk it out at the end. But I use Lady Grey, which I bring back from the UK because tea bags in France are just dreadful. So I always travel with a supply of tea bags. Wherever I go, I never leave without my supply of tea bags. It's totally necessary to my survival. So this is what I do. Normally, we should have a beautiful teapot and then pour the tea over the milk. The reason for that is that when the Brits started to import tea from India, they only had porcelain cups. And if you put boiling water into porcelain cups, it cracks the porcelain. So the first thing you do is actually put the milk. So there we are, my tea bag. And we're going to let it brew. So this thing that was happening to me this morning, thinking, oh my God, I was making changes all the time and was never, happy about all these changes. It really made me start to think about, oh wow, what are all the changes that I've had to make in my life? And when I was thinking about kettles and the UK, I also realized that I've made so many changes in the UK. So changes in the way that I looked. I lost 3 stones, 21 kilos when I was in the UK. So that was a major physical change. Changes in the way that I talk. I had to become a little bit more diplomatic. The French are very direct and we say what we think, but the Brits are not like that at all. They don't like confrontation and arguments like we do. So there are expressions, there are things that they tell you, and you really have to understand and translate them because it never says really what they mean. Yeah. For example, if they tell you, I was a bit disappointed, it actually means that they're very annoyed at you, but it's a very polite way of doing it. Or when they say that's not bad, it actually means it's good. Don't ask them to tell you that it's beautiful, it's wonderful, or show any kind of level of enthusiasm, because that is not part of the English psyche. Or if they tell you, oh, I'm sure it's my fault, I'm really sorry. No. What they mean is, it's your fault, but they tell it to you in a very polite way. So that's always made me really laugh. But I really had to tone down on my way of talking. And also I learned that in England, what you do is you do something and then you apologize after and you say, oops, I'm sorry, I'm French, I didn't know. It works all the time. I used to use that all the time. And changes as well in my way of thinking, in my way of looking at things, and changes in the way that I dressed, because French women, when they reach the age of 40, they tend to go into a little box of not wearing miniskirts, of not trying to show off a lot, and they kind of age themselves, I would say. And in England, you don't have any of that rubbish. And it's so liberating. You can just be 40 and pretend that you're 20 and no one cares. And I found that really, really amazing. That's something that had a massive impact on me. And I think as women, you know, we have these things that are put on us and we don't realize how society is creeping in, you know, all these beliefs. So I owe a lot to England for changing all that paradigms, all these concepts that I had about being a woman. And it's also a country where it's easy, well, it's easier than in France to gain responsibilities and to work hard and to go into any kind of work and to just, as long as you work hard, make it, like the States. So what I find fascinating when we travel, and you know, that was making me think about the concept of traveling. And I think all of us travel to change, but how much do we actually change? How much of each culture do we actually embrace? And what was very interesting for me is that I always had a feeling, you know, when you're a foreigner and you think that you don't quite fit. So three Christmases ago, I offered myself a ancestry DNA test, and I found out that actually I'm only 1% French and I am 64% British. So there you are. And, you know, and then comes the question, who would you be if you were born somewhere else? Who would I be if I had been born in England? Would I be wearing little scarves? Would I have that haircut? I have no idea. I certainly wouldn't have that sexy French accent, obviously. But it really begs the question of how much we take on and the possibilities that are offered to us to really change ourselves dramatically, actually. So, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the power that we have to change and to make these choices and to embrace travel in a way that we really travel with an intention to change, not to only discover a different culture, but to really make changes in ourselves as a result of discovering that other culture. So there you are. This is it. So I guess I have a question for you, which is, when is the last time that you change yourself as the result of going abroad and taking a trip? Thank you very much. I am now going to have a little biscuit and a nice cup of tea. Bye-bye.